Khan's Digital World का नाम तो आपने सुना ही होगा. Khan's Digital World is a prominent feature on Chitramala. This will be hosted here by Dr. Badrul Khan, who is an expert in the field of digital world. His co-hostess is beautiful Miss Nicolette Devadar, who shares her vast knowledge of, quote, cybersecurity, how safe are we, unquote.
Welcome to KDW. I'm Badrul Khan, and I also welcome KDW's co-host, Nicolette Devadar. How are you?
I'm good, Badrul. Thank you. I'm doing well. Hello to you at home. There's a lot going on in the world, from Europe to Asia, Africa to the Americas. So, what are we talking about today?
Well, you know, one of the most pressing issue of our time is cybersecurity.
It sure is. Think about it. Our lives today exist almost entirely online. Everything floats around in cyberspace. Where we live, where we've been, who we know, what we've searched for, who we talk to, what we buy. We trust that someone out there is keeping our information secure. But who is this someone? And can it be even kept secure?
Well, let me think. Cybersecurity is a global issue, and certainly one of the most pressing ones. It affects companies of all sizes and at all levels of business. It affects everyone's work, and also it affects our personal lives.
Yeah. In the digital world, everything is made transparent, and it dissolves borders. So work and personal life, public and private, as separate units really do no longer exist. It's all merged. What does exist, though, is information. Names, numbers, data, and data can be breached, as we hear over and over again. Keyword Equifax, the largest security breach in U.S. history so far, that happened last September and left half of America, about 145 million people, compromised. The sad thing is, the vulnerability was disclosed a couple of months before the attack occurred, meaning that anyone who had opened a bank account, got a loan, owned a credit card, cashed a credit check for a job, or rented an apartment was vulnerable as a result of this. And the thing to remember is that people did not give their data directly to Equifax. It's the credit-based lifestyle that we live that provides all that data. And there's very little regulation in that space.
Well, to be honest with you, based on my knowledge, only 8 states in the United States have required timeline for data breach notification in place. That means that many companies can inform the public whenever they feel like or when they feel comfortable to do. For example, when Yahoo was breached in 2016, it took more than a year to notify the public about a security invasion that left about 57 million people and their data in vulnerable condition. And Uber had a case where they paid hackers reportedly $100,000 to delete the data.
But what kind of data is floating around out there?
Well, look at the web. Your personal data, your social security numbers, your addresses, your tax ID, your phone numbers, even parking tickets are in the cyberspace.
And after each breach, we're told it's safe and the issue has been fixed. But then shortly after, you hear of a new incident. How often has your bank reissued your credit card, for example, because it was compromised? But it doesn't stop there. The even bigger question is, how safe is your health? What about security at work? Just as life and work have merged, so have cyber, security, safety, and health.
Well, that's a big issue, and we will likely to do a separate episode on that. According to a separate report that Accenture and Verizon, the healthcare industry's ability to defend against cyber threats is being seriously undermined by its own workforce.
In an analysis of 1,368 security incidents at healthcare organizations in 27 countries, Verizon found that nearly 58% of those incidents involved insiders, that is to say, they were committed by employees. That's something to be dealt with. Accenture had released a report that was based on a survey of almost 1,000 healthcare employees in the United States and Canada. out of which 18% of the respondents, that is to say nearly 1 in 5, showed a willingness to sell confidential data to unauthorized third parties. And for how much? For as little as $500 to $1,000 a
Well,
piece.
and confidential data like what?
Login credentials, for example, they were willing to download data to portable drives and even install tracking software on business systems. 24% of the people surveyed said they knew someone who had sold data at some point.
Well, electronic medical records, EMRs, wearables, and other healthcare technologies have created a wealth of data, making healthcare organizations as a target for data thieves. Healthcare cybersecurity is a new hot button that requires urgent attention. Several new reports show a rather bleak picture of healthcare cybersecurity, and it appears that in the United States, organizations seem to be struggling more with the security issues than their counterparts in other parts of the world.
Thales surveyed 100 senior healthcare IT managers in the United States and 135 professionals from 9 other countries. They found that 48% of the US respondents had reported a breach in the last 12 months, compared to an average of 36% elsewhere. The breaches are mostly for monetary advantages.
So in today's connected era, things from everything such as smart fridges to the connected pacemakers, we need a different approach in action as well as in mind.
I think it's twofold. The first thing is to become aware that we have essentially reduced ourselves to data and numbers. But the second part is that perhaps we're beginning to see that these things are not what makes a life. Are we sustained by numbers and data, or is there something else? I think particularly with security breaches, increased transparency, and vulnerability to our external existence, this is exactly the time to ask yourself where your security, your safety, your stability really come from. Are you just data and numbers, or is there more to you? Perhaps with all these happenings, we're beginning to understand that we must reorient ourselves elsewhere. At the end of the day, we'll realize we're not just data, but something much more valuable.
Well, folks, we are living in a world, every actions, every activities we do, our data are all over the places. They could be abused by others. So what you need to do is basically when you have valuables at home, you put them in the safest place. But in the digital world, you have to be more cautious what you do. Don't share things that you don't want to share. So having said that, these are bigger issues that we can talk about within the limited time we have. Thanks for watching. We will promise to bring you another exciting episode of KDW next. Thanks.
Thanks.